Good morning, students. Today we will continue with lesson 3.1 Gardens and Gardening. In yesterday's video, we have completed the topic that is kinds of garden and a garden of your own. In kinds of garden, we have learned the different types of garden that includes gardens grown around houses, window box gardens, container gardens, bottle gardens, indoor gardens, greenhouse gardens, etc. Next, in a garden of your own, we have seen the various points that are very much important before planning a garden of your own. And also we have seen that how like us means like human beings, plants also need light, air, water and food. Now let's begin with the next paragraph, that is container gardens. First, as usual, I would like to start with the reading. So let's start. Some people who don't have enough land for growing a garden often grow small plants in window boxes, on balconies or terraces, in tubs or other containers. A window box should be strongly built and must be firmly supported, for it can be very heavy when filled with soil. It should be filled with finely ground soil mixed with plant food and should have good water drainage. The direction which the window faces is also important because some plants grow well in the sun while others prefer shade. Now students, here water drainage is given. Here you can see water drainage. It means what? The flowing away of water. Now I would like to start with the explanation. I already explained you this, students, and also we have seen the image of container gardens, that how it looks like. Here in the book, in a brief way, it is given that usually people plan for this container gardens when they don't have enough space for gardening, or I can say sufficient land for gardening. Oftenly you have seen students window boxes garden, balconies or terrace garden in many houses. But the fact is that planning for gardening is not an easy task, as we have to give lots of efforts and lots of time of ours to grow plants and make our houses look pretty or beautiful. If anybody is planning for window box garden, it should be strongly supported. Here you can see it is given, it must be firmly supported. It means strongly supported, because as we put soil in it or filled with soil, it becomes heavy. So it is essential for window box gardens, the box that we are planning to be prepared must be strong. And also the soil should be filled with finely ground soil, that is mixed with plant food. It should be filled with finely ground soil. The box that we have prepared for window box garden, so that should be filled with finely ground soil, and that soil should be mixed with plant food. Now students, in yesterday's videos I have explained you that what is plant food, that provide food to the plant, that is manure and fertilizer we usually mixed with the soil, so that whatever plant we have grown, that will grow up smoothly. It means, children, for fine gardening we also have to see the supply of water, and especially when we are talking about the window box gardens, we have to be careful about the flow of water. That is, it should not be at one place as it can spoil the plants. So, for the passage of water, drainage system. I said that good. It should have good water drainage. So, for the passage of water, drainage system must be arranged. Those are planning for window box garden. Now, one more point is that we have to select the window whose direction should be towards the sun, as many plants grow well and properly in the sun, while we have seen that in indoor gardens, generally we have noticed that in indoor gardens the plants which we used to keep prefer shade. That is, it does not need any kind of sun rays, or even I can say it grows well without the rays of the sun. Now let's see the next paragraph, where we will learn about terrarium. So, what is a terrarium? A terrarium is a glass-sided container for growing plants and keeping small creatures. The container may have a cover to help conserve moisture and humidity. A bottle garden has plants grown in bottles. Both terrariums and bottle gardens need great care and patience. They require only a little of sunshine, and if placed in a hot sunny window, they will soon wither away and die. These gardens should not be covered too tightly because humidity will build up and fog the walls. In this terrarium, basically we have to take glass-sided container as it is given. We have to take glass-sided container and should cover it. Why we have to cover? The container should have a cover to help. This cover helps conserve moisture and humidity. And you people know that it is very much important for the soil that it must contain moisture, and also it should have a kind of humidity so that it will be helpful for the soil to keep wet itself, so that the roots of the plants will provide food or water from it. Now we should keep small creature or plants for growing in it. It should contain a small kind of creatures, that is small plants, whereas bottle garden has plants that grown in bottles. By the name you have understood that. What is a bottle garden? A plants that we grown in the bottles. What we all need, students, is great care and patience in both terrarium and bottle gardens, as they require little rays of sun or little sunshine. If we will place them under the bright rays of the sun, it will start drying. Here it is given. It will soon wither away and die. So it will start dying and will die at last. We should not cover the whole portion tightly from anywhere, as humidity will form and fog the walls. Fog the wall, which means we won't be able to see the plants inside it. It means it will be difficult for us to see the creatures, the plants, to see inside the bottles. Now students, we will proceed with the next topic, and the next topic is planting the seeds. In a garden, seeds are mostly planted in rows. They are planted in specially prepared seed beds. What is seed beds? An area of fine soil for planting seeds in. As a rule, they should be sown twice their diameter deep. Then they should be covered with fine soil so that the surface remains loose and moist. Moist means the soil should be slightly wet. This will help in the sprouting. Sprouting means beginning to grow, producing new shoots or leaves or beginning to grow. It started beginning to grow as the surface, it means the soil will wet, moist. And in the growth of seedlings. What is seedlings here? Young plants newly grown from seeds. Some seeds sprout in 3 or 4 days, others may take a week or more. Now here it is given how to plant the seeds and how seed changes to plants. For this also we have to follow some rules. Firstly, we must plant the seeds in a row in an area of fine soil. The soil should be smooth wherever we are planting to seeds. Now, and deeply it should be sown. After this, the seeds must be covered with the soil. What we have to do, the seeds which we are sowing, that should be covered with the soil so that it will be wet slightly. The moisture which the soil contain help the seeds in sprouting, that is beginning to grow. It start growing and then it changes to young plants, means in the growth of seedlings, as you can see, so it changes to young plants. After sprouting of seeds, the process is to changes it into seedlings. Some seed sprouts in 3 or 4 days while other take much time, that is a week we can say, or more than a week. Now the next paragraph. As soon as the seeds have begun to sprout, the new seedlings must be taken great care of. This is the most important time in the life of a plant. If it is not watered properly, the teeny plantlet, what is plantlet? Little plants, will die very soon. As we notice that seeds begin to sprout, so it becomes necessary to take care of the young plants. Like mother has to care of their children when they grown up. That is the important time in the life of a child. So likewise of a plant, the important time in the life is what? When the seeds have begun to sprout and it changes into the seedlings. So we have to take care for seedlings. And why we have to take care for seedlings? As this is the most important time for the plants. As I gave you one example, that when child grown up and started crawling and started walking, so it is very much important to take care of that child, for the mother, for their parents. Likewise, we have to take care of our plants. And when we should take care? When the seeds started to sprout. So that is the important part. So it should be watered properly. It should be watered properly so that it would not die. Now the next what it is given, see the next paragraph. Sometimes we need to remove a growing plant to another place. It is called transplanting. In this paragraph, we will learn that what is transplanting. What is transplanting? We need to remove when a growing plant to another place. It is called transplanting. It has to be done quickly. The root must be kept moist and surrounded by earth. Many seedlings are not easy to transplant. Such seeds should be sown in the spot where they are to grow. If the seedlings come up too close together, they should be thinned out. What is thinned out, students? Taken away. Now, when we have to remove a growing plant to another place, we have learned this that it is called transplanting. When we have to remove a growing plant to another place. Now there are some conditions when we should remove this plant to another place. We have to follow some conditions and rules. Then in which type of condition only we can remove the plants from one place to another. Not in each and every condition we can do this transplantation. It has to be done within a limited time also, as the root of the plantlet, that is our young plant, little plant, must be kept moist. Many seedlings we can see which can't be transplanted, means we cannot shift it from one place to another place. Such seeds should be sown in the spot where they can grow properly and will not die. Sometimes it happens that we take out the seedlings if we see them close together. So it should be done. We should thin out the seedlings, that is, take away who are close together. Now come to the next one. Next topic is, students, that is the last topic, garden tools. And what is garden tools here? Let's see the tools of the garden. The spade, the fork, the rake and the hoe are the basic garden tools, and here the image is given of the spade, fork, rake, shears, hoes, lawn mower, wheelbarrow and watering can. All these are the gardening tools. When we are preparing for a garden, we should have all these tools with us so that we can do gardening in a proper manner. Now there are various types of spades. Now spades is this one is spades. So there are various types of spades. They are all used for digging purpose. The purpose for digging the soil, for dig the soil we should use this spade, as you can see in the image here. The using of this spade is for digging the soil. They should have clean sharp edges so that we can cut the soil easily. It should be sharp. The edge of this shade should be sharp so that we can cut the soil easily. We can remove the soil easily. Now second is forks. Forks with 4 tines. 4 tines means pointed parts of fork. I want to show you this one over here. This is fork and it contains the number of tines. Here you can see these are called tines, that is pointed parts of a fork. And is also that the use of the fork is also we can use for digging. Some forks have larger number of tines. Here you can see the smaller tines over here, but we have some forks which have the larger number of tines. They are used for handling manure and similar materials. For handling manure, it means manure and fertilizer. We have learned, students, in this lesson is what? The plant food. Now if we have to mix this manure, so we can take the help of this fork. Now see what it is given. The next one is, the rake is used for smoothing. For smoothing means making the surface smooth and even. Here this is a rake. The soil after it has been dug, it is also used for gathering leaves and grass that has been cut. Now what is the purpose of this rake? It can be also useful to collect the leaves and grass whatever has been cut out and keep it over there. We can collect that over there, means in a garden. Now the hoe is used to loosen soil and uproot weeds. The hoe, where is the hoe over here? This is hose. Now what is the purpose of this? The use of this is to loosen soil and uproot weeds. You can see here that it is useful to take out the soil. It can be used to loose soil. It means we can take out the soil. And uproot weeds means we can uproot the weeds, the grass and all with the help of this hose. Now there are various types of hose. Here in this image you can clearly see that the two types of hose you can see. The most common is the Dutch hoe. What is the Dutch hoe? It has to be pushed and it has its blades sticking out forwards. This is the Dutch hoe. You can see its blades are sticking out forwards, and some hoes have to be pulled as they have their blades sticking in. These are in backward sides. So these are the hoes. Now the next one. If you have a big lawn means lawn ground covered with fine grass, especially in front of a house or as a part of garden. So if we have a big lawn in our garden, a lawn mower, here this is a lawn mower. This is a lawn mower. And what is that lawn mower, students? A machine for cutting grass on lawns. Obviously, if our garden is big, in our garden a lawn is there, big lawn is there, it means it is very much needed that we must have a lawn mower with us for cutting the grass. But for a small patch of grass, you can use shears. What is shears? A large cutting instrument shaped like scissors. Here this one is shears. This one. This is shears. Now what is the use of these shears? There are shears for cutting hedges also. Hedges means a fence or boundary. Now they are like an enormous pair of scissors. Enormous means very big pair of scissors we can also have. Now there are shears for cutting hedges also. Hedges means a fence or boundary. You might have seen in a garden that for giving the shape to the fence and to the boundaries, generally people use these shears. They have thicker blades and stronger handles. Now metal tools should be cleaned, oiled and hung up after they have been used. Now metal tools means everything like spade, fork, rake, everything is made of metal, and like shears also. All these tools are made of metals, and after using these tools we should be cleaned this. This should be cleaned, oiled and hung up, means as it can be rust. So it should be cleaned properly and oiled also, because we should avoid this to be rusting. And if it will rust, what will happen? It won't work properly and we can't give our garden a beautiful look or a pretty look. So we should hang up after they have been used and greased properly after using it. Now cutting tools must have their cutting edges sharpened from time to time. From time to time it is very much necessary to sharpen it. They should be greased before they are stored. Means before keeping this anywhere, before keeping the tools anywhere, we should be greased them properly. Now what are the other tools? A watering can and a wheelbarrow. What is wheelbarrow? an open container for moving small loads in, with a wheel at one end and two legs and two handles at the other. You can see in the picture. Let me show you. This is wheelbarrow and watering can. Both the images are given here. Now come to here. So a watering can and wheelbarrow, it is an important tool when you have a big lawn in your garden. So it's become important to keep wheelbarrow and watering can also. It's a very useful gardening equipment. You can have a pair of rubber boots to work on muddy ground. If your ground is muddy, if muds are there all around, you can use the rubber boots to work if you want to work there in your garden. So you can also have a pair of rubber boots. A pair of gardening gloves can be useful to protect the hands and to keep them clean. If you will have a pair of gardening gloves, if you want to purchase, you can purchase. While gardening, it is a very useful equipment. So what is the use of this gardening gloves? It can protect our hands and to also keep our hands clean. Now the last paragraph, it has been said that one is nearer God's heart in a garden than anywhere else in the world. And if the garden is one of your own, it is no less than paradise. Paradise means heaven itself. Grow a garden of your own and you will know what a store of peace and pleasure lies therein. So student, at last, and that is in the last paragraph, we came to an end, and here it is given that we can reach to God's heart with, or I can say by garden, as it is the place that is not less than paradise. And what is paradise? Heaven. So try to grow a garden of your own and you will find a kind of peace and pleasure when you will see the flowers, fruits in it. Now students, this lesson is completed. That is lesson 3.1, Gardens and Gardenings, where we have learned about the kinds of garden, a garden of our own, and the planting of seeds, and at last we have gone through garden tools. I hope you all have understood. And students, one thing, if you have any doubt, you can call me and even you can message me on my number, as I think you all have my number, but then also I want to repeat this. 9301911138 is my number. You can message me on WhatsApp. What is my number? 9301911138 is my number. You can message me anytime on my WhatsApp number. Thank you, students.